Hey y'all, here we are again. Welcome to yet another direct action gaming session. My name is Sean. This here is my channel, Direct Action Gaming, where we game. We play games. Sometimes I rant about politics occasionally at the end of the video, but that's the end of the video. Here's the part where we play a game. So hopefully anybody that likes playing games will find that appealing, right? What game are we playing? Well, duh, it's This War of Mine. We are continuing the campaign that I started last week. I was hoping to have little installments throughout the week, but things got kind of busy there, so we didn't quite get to do that. But we did not finish the first day last time, so this time what we're going to try to do is finish that first day and then finish another day, and then we will have installments where we do precisely one day for each time until we either lose or somehow win, I guess. I don't expect to win on just my second run, so we shall see. As a reminder, This War of Mine is basically a roguelite, if you're aware of what that term is, and or it's like a roguelike, I should say. It's a game in which it's brutally difficult by design, and you're probably going to lose quite a bit until you can make yourself a bit more familiar with the gaming system and learn how to, get better at it. So that's what we're going to try to do here. We're going to just keep doing, we're going to do more runs. We're going to try out new stuff, and we're going to try to get through all the expansion material, of which I do have some. I have some expansion material that we're going to check out. But this time we're just doing a plain old average everyday campaign, and we might as well go to the board to check that all out, right? Boom. Okay. So here we are. I've set everything up just the way it was, thanks to these handy dandy save sheets. These things are nice. I was able to make notes about all the things that were in play the last time we were trying this, and I had to leave for a thing, but here we are again. So I wrote down all the stuff. I put everything on the board here. So we were right in the middle of the scavenging phase. We have Arika and Saveta at a warehouse. And it's pretty exciting because they found quite a few things, including some insulate. Well, that's the reinforcements. We can't actually take that. We do not have enough inventory space to actually pick that up, which is a shame. It would be nice to be able to take that. As you can see, the weight is 6. We have an inventory of 5. We did find some insulation over here. That is weight 3, so we can take that. But since I decided to take this shovel with us, we either have to dump the shovel or take it with us, and we can only take one of these weighted items with us. I'm thinking it is probably going to be one mechanical part. I would love to take all of this stuff back with us, provided, these ladies do survive their scavenging run, but they are weighted items, and as such, we can only take one of these with us if we want to take the shovel back with us. Up at the top there, you can see we've got army deals. That is a condition that is affecting the price of certain items until that gets replaced by another event. So army deals is in play until that gets switched up. Some other things to make note of is we do have 3 tokens on the cold space here. That can eventually be an issue, but that's why the insulation is cool. If we can bring this back with us, we can put that up in the cold space area, and that will, the insulation all by itself will get rid of all those cold tokens on the morning of the next day. So we might take a bit of sickness this evening. It depends on which fate card we draw. We shall see. But anyway, yes, we need to finish up the scavenging here. We've got, I think, 5 cards left in the exploration deck here. So we just kind of draw them until we have nothing left, and then we have to leave, and then the night raid is going to happen, and we're going to see what will befall Bruno and the rest of our supplies here in the shelter before the ladies can get back from scavenging. Also, I discovered an advanced rule that I think we're going to take advantage of. Apparently, if you can't carry everything back with you, rather than throwing it out, you can take that stuff and hide it at a location. So you keep it there, like with these reinforcements, and as long as this warehouse continues to exist in the game, we will have a chance to go back there and get some of this stuff. Now, the reinforcements is going to be there, period. That was a random thing. But the rest of the stuff that we want to hide there, we can get it again if we go back and we succeed on a sort of random roll. So we can hide it somewhere, but there's no chance, there's no guarantee that it'll still be back there because someone else may have swiped it before we can get back. So that's how that works. All right, so let me set y'all up, and then we will just keep on going. Okay, here we are again. All right, so that's not a perfect camera angle, but y'all should be able to see most of the board this way. So let's carry on. All right, we're going to toss out this save sheet, because we don't really need that unless I'm being paranoid here. I may want to keep this just in case something happens to this recording. Anyway, all right, so we are still in the scavenging mode of day 1, so we might as well just take the top card and see what we get. Yet another reality impact. Okay, this is our 3rd random event that has occurred this time. So, all right, a random thing is going to happen. Let's see. So draw a card from the colors deck. We need to find the color, and then we draw a card from the exploration deck. Okay. So color is green. And then we look at green at the draw a card from the exploration deck. All right, so that's the next one, and we look at what's the green number? Looks like it's 865. Okay, 865. We will put that on the bottom of the exploration deck now, since I kind of saw what it was. All right, but 865 is where we need to go in the book of scripts to see what has just occurred. 865. All right, here's 865. What does this entry tell us? The soldiers emerged out of the darkness like ghosts. Oh, great. They're wearing camo, and their movements are sure and silent. First, they ask for our names, then demand to know where we live. You're in luck. We're hunting a couple of overly trigger-happy guys around your place. We'll need a place to crash tomorrow. Maybe you could put us up? Oh, boy. Well, we do have 3 choices here, as you can see. Top one says, how much are you paying? We go to 1552. Middle one is, of course, at the least you deserve a dry bit of floor. C1004. I do not like the idea of bringing these guys back to our shelter because they are soldiers. They're going to order us around. They're going to take our stuff. They might even hurt us. I would like to just keep rolling. I'm leaning towards the top one. How much are you paying? Can we at least get something out of this if you're going to insist on staying at our place? The bottom one, we don't let murderers under our roof, whatever their uniform. This conflict won't end because of you. That's the true statement, really. That's what I would like to say. But I'm thinking if we do tell them that, maybe they'll just shoot us and take our stuff. So let's play it safe, and we'll ask a reasonable question, I would think. Can we get some compensation? So let's go to 1552 and see what happens. 1552. Where the heck is that? Okay, it's pretty short. 1552 just says, the look the soldier gave us was as sharp as the bayonet on his rifle. Squad, let's move out. A moment later, they were gone. Okay. That is fine with me, actually. They're just like, whatever. Bye. So they don't want to give us anything. They just wanted to stay at our place and probably eat up whatever food we don't have or some shit. Anyway, yeah, they are gone. Nothing bad happened. I think that's a fairly good outcome. All right, the soldiers have gone away. So we put the color card back in the color deck. Just shuffle it in there. All right. And it'll probably say to... It does not say to put this underneath the location or anything like that. So I'm guessing we just put this on the discard pile now. It has not instructed me to put it underneath the location. All right, so next one. It says stairs up. Look for another way. Return 2 exploration cards. Or we enter. We raise the noise by 2 and roll for the noise. Let's see. So we've got... We can return 2 cards. You know what? No, we still have the hiding place that we haven't used. So we might as well raise the noise by 2 and roll for the noise. All right, so we'll put this down. We'll raise the noise up to 4 and we'll roll for noise. And if an encounter happens, we get to ignore it by ditching the hiding place, or rather using that. Let's see here. And it is a 1. So I think that means an encounter has been triggered because I believe you need to get above current noise to not trigger something. Yeah, it says if the result is equal to or less than the current noise, an encounter is immediately triggered. Okay, so since an encounter has been triggered, we can return the noise to 1. And then we can also ignore the counter by discarding the hiding place. So the hiding place is gone, and we toss out the stairs. So we no longer have that hiding place to ignore an encounter. What is the next card? It says search the heap. Okay, so I'm glad we didn't get rid of this just to go quietly through the stairs. Okay, search the heap. Return 2 exploration cards and raise the noise by 1, or raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. Okay, Well, if we return 2 exploration cards and raise the noise by 1, this will be the last thing that we can do. We can search this heap. Or we can raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. So if we get a 1 yet again, we are going to get some sort of an encounter. So this is a bit of a risk. And I don't think that we should take it, honestly, because we have 2 ladies that are not armed, and it's a low risk, but we already have a bunch of good stuff. I really want to get that insulation back to our place. So maybe we return 2 exploration cards and we search this heap. Yeah, let's just do that. We're going to return 2 exploration cards, raise the noise by 1, and not have to roll for it, but we do get to take findings and see what's on the heap chart. So this says ammo and chems, and that's not terrible because we can use the ammo for one of our objectives. Chems definitely come in handy for a lot of things as well. Okay, so ammo and chems. Put that on the pile over here. And we also get to roll for special findings. If we're really lucky, I get a 10 and we get a hatchet. But if we get a hatchet, we can't take a mechanical part back with us. We get a 3, and I think that means nothing. Yeah, we found no special stuff. All right. Okay, so that was scavenging. Scavenging is now done. All right, so we take all the exploration cards. We're just going to shuffle the exploration deck again. Scavenging is over, and I believe once scavenging is done, we have to choose our findings for what we're actually going to bring back with us once we get to the dawn phase. All right. We get to put that back to 1 as well. I think what we're going to do is keep precisely 1 mechanical part. Then we'll take the moonshine, the filter, and all these weapon parts, and we will hide them on the warehouse here. So they will all be hidden, and if we're lucky, maybe we can get some of this stuff some other time. But probably, if this place still exists and we can come back again, I'm thinking I'm going to come back with Arica and Bruno, and we're going to get those reinforcements. We won't be able to carry anything else with us, including the shovel, or just any other weighted things. We won't be able to bring any weighted things back with us, but if we get those reinforcements, we can put boards on all the holes. That will increase our defenses from night raids, and it will also help us manage the temperature within our shelter. So, okay, so we have decided what findings we're going to take back with us. Let me remind myself here how this works again. Yeah, we just choose findings. We already chose those. All right, we just got to do the night raid phase now. Okay. So this could be bad. What is the night raid card that we get? Okay, we get hobos. So that means damage 3 tokens, wounds 0. So this is not terrible. It's not great either, but it's not terrible. So if we start with the most expensive ones, that means they will be taking our lockpick. That's what they will be taking. Pretty much guaranteed, I think. We can, since Bruno is on guard, I can roll the unarmed die to see if we can reduce the damage, like, at all. We got a script thing. Okay, so let me show y'all. Here's a result that you could get. It's not focusing. Okay. Here's a result that you can get on the die, and what it basically means is we can either ignore this and it's nothing, or we can draw one of the fate cards to see if something good might happen. So as is, we're losing a lockpick, but if I'm really lucky, something good might happen and Bruno just ignores all damage somehow, and then we don't lose our lockpick. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking if we lose a lockpick, it's not the end of the world, because we already still have. The ladies are going to be bringing a lockpick back. And we're probably going to find other lockpicks. You can only have 2 at a time anyway. We can make one with a metal workshop. It probably isn't worth risking Bruno taking any wounds. So yeah, we're just going to lose our lockpick. That's what happened in this night raid. So we have to put that lockpick back in the box because those hobos showed up and they took it. And now we remove this card from the game is what it says. Okay, so the hobos card is not going to show up again. All right, so that was the night raid phase over, except also we have a crime wave. And the crime wave feature means there are some dangerous cards that you set aside at the beginning of the game. We're going to randomly select 2 of those. Shuffle. Okay, during setup, night raid and residence cards with a red corner were set aside. If there are any of these cards left, shuffle 2 cards in any combination into their corresponding decks without looking at their fronts. Okay, so we have to do this randomly. 1, 2, all right. So we got 2 additional residence cards that we shuffle into the residence deck. All right. So that's the crime wave. Now we do Dawn. All right. So with Dawn, the scavenging party is going to return. So that means Arika and Saveta come back. And we get all of the goodies that we decided to take back with us. So there's some chems and some herbal meds. We've got plenty of books. We have some jewelry for bargaining. We have 1 mechanical part for potentially making some stuff. Got our shovel back. Got a lockpick back. We can take this insulation and put this up in the cold space. We also got some herbs. Okay. We have a cigarette. And I checked earlier, we do have 2 smokers. We will see what that means soon enough. Okay, also, I think our objective card says that at any moment you may discard any number of ammo and or 100% alcohol. Okay, so we're going to take this ammo that we found and we're going to toss it. And that means we can move the objective marker ahead 1 space. If we find some 100% alcohol, that'd be great because we can move it forward 2 spaces. But we can't do that just yet. Now, can we? All right, so scavenging party has returned. Assign meds and bandages. Basically, if we had anybody that was sick and or wounded, if we had meds and bandages, we do have herbal meds, but nobody is sick, nobody is wounded, so we don't need to worry about that. Then we draw a fate card, and the fate card is going to give us a bunch of conditions to check, basically. So let's take the top fate card. Okay, and yeah. This is the one that we would have drawn for Bruno's little combat thing, and you can see it says stumble. Self-hit, This combatant suffers 1 wound. So Bruno would have been wounded even though normally that wouldn't have happened. So it's probably a good thing that I just said, nope, we're not going to do that. And it also says raise the wounds of all wounded unbandaged characters by 1, meaning Bruno would have had 2 wounds. Whew. Okay, so we dodged that bullet. So we ignore all the stuff on the top here then. If cold tokens equals board ups minus board ups equals 5 or more, we only have 3, so that means we get no illness either. Lucky. Okay, then we also exchange the nearest small location. Which one is small? I don't think we have... Yeah, we have 2 mediums and a large. So, yeah, since we don't have a small location and it doesn't say anything else, I guess we don't lose any of our locations. Weight tokens, that's a thing that may happen eventually. You put them on various workstations to like produce stuff at the end of the turn pretty much. Now we also resolve Spirit A on all character cards. So each character card has spirit conditions, and they're a little bit different for everybody. So for Savetta, her spirit condition is if any character in the group is hungry, level 3, raise Savetta's misery by 1. Nobody is that hungry, so we can ignore that. Savetta is good. She doesn't need to worry that people are too hungry. Okay, Bruno, for A, it says habit, discard 1 cigarette from the storage or raise Bruno's misery by 1. We just happen to have a cigarette, so I guess we're good on that. Although Arika also... her Spirit A is also 1 cigarette from the storage or raise Arika's misery by 2. Okay, so I think we're gonna save this cigarette for Arika because her misery will go up by 2 if she doesn't have a cigarette. But if Bruno doesn't, his misery just goes up by 1. So that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna find misery in the box here, and we're gonna put it up to 1 for Bruno, meaning it's not 0, it's at 1, and as we can see, this doesn't really mess with his ability to do stuff during the day. It doesn't take any of his actions away. So that's not terrible. We do need to get rid of this cigarette, because Arika just used that up. Alright. So that's what happens for the Fate card. It just says, afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. Alright. There we go. Cool. So now we do it all over again by going to the morning phase and drawing a new event. And on top of all that, since we have the insulation, and that gets rid of 3 cold spaces in the morning every morning, cold tokens, I should say, from the cold space, we get rid of all of our cold tokens. So now we are back to 0 cold tokens, but we will possibly be getting some more with this next event. We do have that simple heater built, so we might consider using that. Maybe. We shall see. We do have plenty of books, so we could have Savetta just use it to start a fire and get rid of one of the cold tokens, but let's draw the event to see what happens. We also need to keep in mind we have 2 more days until this first chapter is over, and we still need 4 more points on our black market goods thing. Otherwise, we're going to be getting the penalty rather than the reward for that particular objective. Okay, so next event, what is it? It says shelling. Okay, what does this mean? Why won't it focus? Why won't you focus? Just focus. Really? What does it say? It adds 1. We add 1 cold token to the space. All right. 1 cold token. Shelling, if more than 1 character went scavenging the previous night, your shelter becomes the target of a shelling. Oh, crap. Distribute 2 wounds between any present characters and destroy 1. Oh my gosh, you have to be kidding me. Oh, okay, well, that's what happens, I guess. So our simple heater is gone. It got destroyed by some shelling. And it looks like Bruno takes 2 wounds anyway? Yeah, distribute 2 wounds between any present characters. All right, well, that's amongst all the characters. So, I don't know. We'll put 1 on Savetta and 1 on Bruno, I guess. God damn it. All right, well, we got to find wounds. We're going to give 1 each to 2 people, and that means we're going to need to get some bandages ASAP. Where are the wounds? Let's see. You have to be kidding me. Where the heck are they? Come on. Seriously? What is it? What in the heck? How is it not in here? Here it is. All the way at the bottom, of course. All right. Okay, so we have to give wounds. 1 wound to Savetta and 1 wound to Bruno. Okay. So everybody still has 2 actions, but Bruno and Savetta have 1 wound each. All right, so bandages are gonna be a good thing to have. All right, so that's what happened. After you resolve this card, remove it from the game. All right, so that was a thing that happened. Okay. Well, that was the morning, so now we go on to the day phase. So how do we handle this now? We're going to need... Let's see here. What I was kind of thinking of doing is we can start with Arica picking this lock. Bruno can try to dig through this rubble. I wonder if... I don't think Savetta can build us anything. One thing I was thinking of building was... Well, actually she could. If we build an herbal garden... which... An herbal garden would allow us to turn herbs into cigarettes, and that would be great. So I think we might do that. We'll have Savetta build us an herbal garden over here. We want an empty space on each side of the herbal garden for the 2 potential upgrades we can eventually get. Okay, so first we will start with Arica. She's going to come up here and we're going to attempt to pick the lock on this closed door. So she does get a bonus for lock picking. She may re-roll the die when lock picking, and I believe we will... Yeah, if we can get a 4 or more, the lock is picked, and we have to discard the lock pick. Alright, so we'll bring this lockpick up here with Arica. And we're going to see if we can actually pick this lock. Okay, so she does get a 1. So normally she would fail, but this is Arica, and we get to re-roll it. And this time we get a 5, so she did succeed. So this means we toss out the lockpick. That's gone. We flip over this card. We can see we get another mechanical part and 1 piece of wood from picking this lock. So we're going to have to take the mechanical part from that stuff that we hid. Although, according to the rules of the game, if you don't have stuff in the box, you just can't get it. So it would, because I decided to hide that stuff there, I can't get an extra mechanical part from picking this lock. But we do get 1 piece of wood. So, yeah. I wonder if I can... You know what? I'm going to mulligan this. I'm going to say we're not going to do that. We aren't going to be using any advanced rules. Because why would I do that? Why would I be using advanced rules when I barely have any idea what the hell I'm doing anyway? So, we're just going to say all that stuff is gone anyway. We couldn't take it back with us, so it is just gone now. Other than the reinforcements, that stuff stays there. But we can now also get 1 mechanical part from the box for this door that Arica picked. Okay. So we had to abandon all that stuff, but we did get our extra mechanical part anyway. All right. Let's see. So next, we have Bruno take the shovel up here. And we're going to flip this to rubble remnants. So that was a thing that he did. And then we're going to have Sveta go over here. And we're going to pick the build an herbal garden. And we'll say, okay, we need 1. Yeah, since we already have 1 mechanical part, we have 4 components and 4 wood in the storage already. We can then take all that stuff and put it on this card. And say, yep, Sveta is building us an herbal garden. All right. Okay, so that is the first action phase done for the day. So I think what we're going to do now is continue to the next portion by saying Bruno continues to dig and we get rid of this rubble remnants card. All right, we toss that out. We also get this stuff from the lock that Arica picked. This card has been removed from the game now. And I'm thinking it might be wise to have Arica search this heap. And I guess Sveta, once this is built, we can see if she can use an action to roll a cigarette. That would probably be a good idea. So, all right, first we'll do Arica over here. She's going to search this heap. And we did get some water, so that's something. So we're going to get hit in the dusk phase here, because we only have 1 water. We found an electrical part. And we also found... This is up here, not down there. We also found 3 components. Okay. So she found that up there. And down here we toss all this stuff out because it has been used to build the herbal garden. So now Savetta is standing on the top of that, and she still has one action left. To roll cigarettes, we just use up an herb and we get a cigarette for that. So we might as well do that to ensure that we have another cigarette for this evening, because we have 2 characters that might need a cigarette or they'll get sad. So we'll toss out the herb and we'll get ourselves a cigarette back for that. Okay. And that was a thing. I'll put that right there. That was a thing that Savetta just did. All right. So that is the day phase over with. So we'll take the shovel back here, put Bruno in the guard space. Put that there. Electrical part. Got precisely 1 water. That is not a lot. Okay, so Arika's there as well. We have a cigarette there. Okay. Okay, so could be worse, could be better. That's where it is. So unfortunately, we were not able to use that simple heater for anything because it done got bloated up. But we did find some things, and we cleared some more space up there, so that's not terrible. Alright, so since the day phase is over, we now need to proceed to dusk, I believe, and this is going to be somewhat painful. We have 1 vegetable and 1 water, so one person will be fine, but 2 other people are going to be not great. Well, we might have Bruno eat and drink. He's already wounded and miserable, so let's have him do that. The girls don't get to eat and drink. Okay, so what that means is, first of all, we're doing the drinking. We have to roll for Savetta. Let's see, I gotta go back to dusk here. Okay. So, gonna roll for Savetta because she couldn't drink. She gets a 1, so we raise her hunger by 1. So she's back to hunger 2 now. Alright, Bruno is good. He drinks. And then we also need to roll for Arika to see what happens with her. She gets a 6, so we increase her misery by 1. Yep, so let's find misery, and we give Arika a 1. Okay, well, let's see here. That was water. Now, when it comes to food, oh boy. That means hunger is going up to 3 for Savetta here. That's not good at all. Having a character at 3 anything is not great. Okay. Savetta's at hunger 3. Bruno is fine because he eats. And Arika is up to hunger 2. Alright. So that's what happens with dusk. Now we go to evening and we decide who's going where. So we already know we want Bruno and Arika to be going back to that warehouse to try and get those reinforcements. Hopefully they can find bandages, because we are really going to need us some bandages. I guess Savetta is going to be on guard duty. And yeah, that's how that's going to work. We'll take, I guess we might have them take jewelry. I'll have them take jewelry for potential bargaining, I would suppose. Other than that, we'll keep everything else back here. All right, and we need to increase everybody's fatigue by 1 as well. So everybody is now at fatigue 2. This means on the next evening, we're probably going to have to just not scavenge. And someone is going to have to guard. And their fatigue is going to go up to 3. So I have to try to keep that in mind, I guess. All right, so let's see what happens for today, shall we? Okay, we're going to go to scavenging. We're going to the warehouse. Chose equipment. All right, so we're putting both of them here, and we're just picking that up. But actually, let me double check what the rules were on that. Let's go to 431. Let's see here. This was for the reinforcements again. Until this location is removed from the game, during any scavenging at this location, you may return 4 exploration cards to move this token to the findings pile. Okay. So, that means we take 14 exploration cards off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. And we also take 4 off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. We return them to the exploration deck. And that means that, yes, they did pick up the reinforcements. They cannot carry anything else back with them. But we have enough inventory to do that, so we're taking those reinforcements back with us. And once we have that set up, that's going to help defending ourselves from future night raid attacks and also help keep the place a little bit warmer. So there's also that. And hopefully we can find some other good stuff, especially food and water. That would be great. Any kind of food. Okay. So let's see here. All right, so let's head into scavenging. We're going to do, let's see. I don't think we're going to do a random thing. Plenty of random shit happened last time. Let's just pick up the cards and see what they say. So the first card says rubble. This location doesn't even have rubble. Okay, so that was a map card, rubble. There's no rubble at the warehouse. We tossed that. What does the next one say? Next one says poke about. You may ignore this or poke about. Return 1 exploration card. Why won't it focus? Oh, that's so annoying. Return 1 exploration card or roll for the noise. 2, choose 1 finding from the special findings chart for this location. Let's see if we can return 1 exploration card or roll for the noise. Well, I mean, there's always a chance that we get a 1 if we roll for noise. We could also just return 1 exploration card. Screw it. Let's return 1 exploration card. We already have people wounded and very hungry. Let's not push it here. So we're going to return 1 exploration card. And that means we can search safely. We get to roll for this location. Hopefully we get some canned food. We get a 3, which is nothing. So we find nothing. That's cool. All right, next card. I think I saw something. Return as many exploration cards as you wish and roll the black die. Add the number of the returned exploration cards to the result. If you get a 1 to 5, draw and resolve a residence card. Okay, how many cards do we have left? All right, let's play it safe here. We're going to return 3 cards. That means we can roll, and we can add that number to the result. So this won't guarantee anything, but it could very well help. What do we get? We get a 2, and since we put away 3, we get a 5. That means, yeah, 1 to 5, we draw and resolve a residence card. What does the card say? Well, we lucked out there. It says rats. It was nothing, just some rats. You may return 1 exploration card to try to catch one. We need to perform a backstab. If the characters present deal 3 or more wounds, they manage to catch and kill something that might be edible after proper preparation. Add 1 raw food to the findings pile. Okay, so we can ditch 1 exploration card to take a chance on killing one of these rats to bring some food back. No, I don't think we will. Nope. Okay, afterwards, remove this card from the game. So this isn't going to show up again. Yep. I'm just going to throw that out. Okay, so next one says what? Search the pantry. Okay. Return 2 exploration cards or raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. Okay, so this would be a slight risk if we raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. But if we return both other exploration cards, this will be it. So I think we're going to raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. What do we get? We get an 8, so we're good. Okay. So now we get to search the pantry. We draw 1 findings card. And for the pantry, it says moonshine, coffee, and 2 cigarettes. Hey, we done struck gold. This is pretty good. All right, so we're not going to have to worry about cigarettes for a while. And we even got some coffee, so that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And we got moonshine, not 100% alcohol. I would like 100% alcohol, but we did not find that. Okay. So we put all that on the findings pile. The moonshine is going to have to get tossed because we can't carry any weighted items back with us. So now we get to roll for special findings to see if we found anything else. And we got a 2, so we found nothing else. All right. So shuffle that back into findings. All right. Next card. What does the next card say? It says door. I guess we can enter. We can choose to roll for the noise or raise the noise by 1. I think we're going to raise the noise by 1. And then we can choose the last card, which says basement entrance. There is one here. Okay, so this could help us continue here. Raise the noise by 3 and roll for the noise. So we could raise it by 3, which would bring it up to 6, and then we could use Arika's special ability to bring it all the way back down to 1, and then roll for the noise. After entering, add 5 cards from the exploration deck, Also, you may discard this card during this scavenging to draw and resolve 2 findings cards instead of 1. During this scavenging. All right. Okay. So, we're going to bring the noise back to 1, and we're going to roll for noise. So we got a 2. That means we barely missed it. Just barely. But it is 2, and it's at 1, so we're good. So that means we get to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards back from the exploration deck. And we get to keep rolling here. And I think this basement entrance means you may discard this card during the scavenging to draw and resolve 2 findings cards instead of 1. So that means next time it tells us we can draw and resolve a findings card, we can toss out basement entrance to actually double that. All right, so next exploration card says tough luck, roll for the noise. Okay, still at 1, so let's roll for the noise again. We got a 4, so we're good. Next card says jammed door. And this location does not have a jam door, so we toss this one. Next exploration card says, hey, here it is. Okay. We may search the furniture, so we can either return 2 exploration cards or raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. Let's see, how many cards do we have left? We have exactly 2 left. All right. I think what might be best here, I mean, we can't even carry any more weighted items. So we might as well play it safe and just return 2 exploration cards, and then we can get a whole bunch of goodies and we can just go. All right, so let's do that. We will return 2 exploration cards, and that means we can also toss the basement entrance to draw and resolve 2 findings cards. Yep, we get the furniture chart on both of these cards. Oh, I am now seeing, by the way, this is what I was confused about. There are cards like this that will say on the bottom, or end exploration. So that's an option that will be on the bottom of like most of these cards. So yes, you can end the exploration at any time. That is good to know. All right, so let's do this one at a time. First of all, we get vegetable, weapon part, and shell. Cool. All right, vegetable, so food, weapon part, and more ammo. Cool. Although, I don't think shell counts. Ammo is ammo, but I think shell is something different. Why do I not see any shells in here? What the heck? Here it is. Okay. We get a shell. Right. Okay, so the weapon part is yet another thing we're going to have to ditch. Yeah, and since a shell is not ammo, we can't ditch that for our objective. We also get to roll for special findings to see if we got extra stuff. Did we get an extra thing? Okay, we got a 7, and that was yet another weapon part that we're going to have to leave back. So, all right, well, we got nothing. It might as well be nothing. Okay, next card says lockpick, sugar, and meds. Okay. Okay. We get a lockpick, more sugar, and... Oh my god, are you kidding? Got lots in there. Lockpick, sugar, and meds. All right. Well, the sugar is weighted, so I guess we're not getting sugar. But we can take a lockpick and some meds back with us. And we can roll for special findings once again to see if there's some other stuff that we might be able to take back with us. It says 9. So what's that? Oh my goodness, canned food. Okay, that is good. It is weighted though, so we have to leave it. Oh, that's not great. Damn it. Oh, oh my gosh, there was one thing I forgot to do. Let's see. At the end of each day, you're supposed to take a narrative action. I completely skipped that part. So we can take 2 narrative action cards off the top here that might give us a bonus. We have 2 choices here. We've got headshot. During any combat or during your backstab, if you are using a firearm, well, we don't have that. Or play during the night raid phase. If the character on guard duty has a firearm, they don't. Oh, boy, this would come in handy if we actually had a gun. What does duty say? Play during the day actions phase. Raise 1 chosen character's fatigue by 1 to automatically remove. Oh, that's kind of cool. I guess we're keeping duty. That is a bonus that we get. So we'll shuffle this other thing back in there. I guess I only remembered that because 1 narrative action will allow the guard to help bring stuff back, which would mean we would get 2 additional inventory spaces. Yeah. Well, as is, we only have 6, which means we kind of have to ditch the canned food. Oh, that really would have helped though, because Sveta has hunger 3. So if we get a vegetable and canned food, that means we could just have Bruno not eat tomorrow. Although we could also have Bruno sacrifice one of his actions to try and pull a vegetable out of nowhere, and then everybody would be good. We just don't have hardly any water, though. Although, if we... Let's see. If we leave the reinforcements here, which is something we could do. We could just say, no, we're not going to pick it up this time. We could take probably the weapon part, the canned food, and 3 water back with us. And that would be kind of huge. We would be good, I think, on food and water for the most part tomorrow. We don't have to worry about cold anyway, because insulation, those boards would be great, though, because that would help reduce damage in the night raid phase. But food, though. We can't eat those boards. We need some food. And I don't know, we're probably not going to be able to do much tomorrow since everybody's fatigue is already on 2 and we're not going to be able to really scavenge again. And I have no idea what's going to happen for the night raid phase as well. So... Oh, and we also did not get bandages. We have 2 wounded characters that cannot get bandaged. We might get lucky and like their wounds do not get worse, or we might find bandages by searching and all that jazz. Okay, so I think I know what to do. We're going to take the reinforcements and we're going to leave them and we're going to do that other stuff. We're going to ditch moonshine and sugar. We're going to take the weapon parts and the canned food back with us. And that means we still have 3 slots to bring some water back with us. So that way everyone will have something to drink, and provided Bruno can find a vegetable, that means we would have enough food for everybody, and if Savetta eats the canned food, she will go back to hunger 1, and that's pretty good. Okay. Alright, so there is that. Okay. So we have chosen findings. Exploration is over. Let's shuffle these findings cards back into the findings deck. And we shuffle all the exploration cards back into the exploration deck. Shuffle the exploration deck again. Okay. Really hoping to get those reinforcements. But we aren't going to be able to get them this time, nor can we get them tomorrow night. So we're going to have to hope that this warehouse can stay here for a couple of days before we can get those reinforcements. Because we need to eat. So there's that. All right. So now we ditch this other stuff that we could not carry with us. And we're going to see what happens during the night raid. What happens to poor Savetta? Okay, we get starving people. This says 4 damage and 1 wound. Okay, starting with green tokens. And that means they would take sugar and the cigarette for 4. And I guess... yeah, that would be everything. They would take that. All right, so that's what we get. I guess we got to roll the green die to see if Savetta can maybe reduce some of this. Okay, it's blank, so nothing. So Savetta takes a wound. She's already at 1 wound, so that means she's at 2 wounds now, and we lose all that green stuff. So that's what happened in the night raid phase. Could be worse, I guess, but that's not great now, is it? Okay. So that's what happened in night raid, and it says remove this card from the game, so that's not going to be happening again. Okay. So now, once again, I think... yeah, we actually should have done this before. No. We chose findings. We did night raid. Cool. So at the end of night raid, if we do crime wave again, we're going to take 2 random cards and add them. Without looking at their faces. So it's 1 night raid and 1 resident. Okay. Put the night raids in there. That's in there. All right. Okay, could have been worse. Everybody's still alive. Kinda. They're not doing great. We're definitely not scavenging tonight. Oh, if we could have gotten those reinforcements, that would make me feel so much better if we had gotten those. But okay, so scavenging party returns. So these two come back, and we get all of this stuff. So we get the water. We have enough water for everybody. That's great. We get us some canned food. We get coffee. We get a couple cigarettes. So losing that cigarette and that sugar was not that big of a deal. But Savetta getting wounded yet again is kind of not good at all. We do have some weapon parts here. So if we were to make a metal workbench, we could make a weapon to help make this place a little bit more defensible during the night raids. All right. So we also have all right. So that's all the stuff that we brought back. Cool. All right. So now we gotta assign meds and bandages. Nobody is sick, and we don't have any bandages, unfortunately. So, let's see if somebody does ideas. Let's think about this. Okay, we have to draw a fate card. So what does the fate card say? Okay, so it looks like we dodged the bullet with regards to wounded characters. Wounded characters do not get worse. It's illness that goes up. Nobody is ill, so we're good on that. If cold tokens minus board ups equals 4 or more, we're good on that too. We only have 1 cold token. We exchange the nearest location, which is the warehouse, so that goes away now, meaning we don't get those reinforcements. Warehouse is gone. And in its place, we have the direct squat. All right, reinforcements is gone. We had our chance to get that. It's gone now. Okay, and I think these reality impacts get shuffled back into their respective decks as well. Okay. All right. So exchange nearest location. There are no weight tokens. It's Spirit A again. Well, we have cigarettes this time, so we're good on that. We just go down the line again. If any character in the group is hungry level 3, Savetta's misery gets raised by 1. That's Savetta. She's at hunger 3. So she now also has misery level 1. Great. Meaning everybody has some misery. We might want to think about building a chair, perhaps. Or if we had like a guitar, Arika might be able to play it. Savetta also has a thing called comforting talk that could lower people's misery. That's some random shit, though. If you have a chair, that is a legit thing that you can use to lower people's misery. So it's still only at 1 for everybody, but these states are piling up quick. Okay, so that was Savetta, and we're gonna have to ditch 2 cigarettes so that Bruno and Arika don't get even worse. We gotta discard both of those cigarettes that we fortunately found in the last scavenging. So those are both gone, but their misery does not go up. That's cool. So Spirit A is resolved, and afterwards shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. All right. Cool. And we're going to do the narrative thing yet again. So let's not forget to do it this time. We get to take the top two off the deck here, and we get to choose. We have Rumors and Close Call. Close Call says play during any combat, ignore all wounds from a single combat die roll, or play during the night raid phase, ignore all wounds. Okay, I like the sound of that. Rumors, play at any time, take a look at the top. Nah, we're taking Close Call. Close Call, I like the sound of that. The last thing we need right now is more wounds during the night raid phase. Okay. So, we have the day phase once again. And pretty much all of our characters only have one action that they can do. Because Sveta's wounds are up to 2, and the fatigue for both Bruno and Arika are up to 2 as well. So, well, I don't know how Sveta's fatigue is not up to 2 as well. Okay. We only have 3 actions. Well, if Bruno does his voila thing, that would be 1 action. That means we have 2 ladies that would have 1 action each. Although we could use duty. That would raise their fatigue by 1, but we would automatically remove 1 rubble card from the game. I don't think it's worth it, really, because everybody's fatigue is already at 2. Let's see here. I don't think there's anything we could build, though. We have a distinct lack of wood and components. We should probably have somebody go to the herbal garden to roll a cigarette. That's for sure. We could also have somebody go outside. I think we might do that. We might have Arika go outside because she's the only one that hasn't been wounded yet. Bruno can do his random thing to see if we can produce a vegetable. Okay, so we're going to do Bruno first. I think we'll have Arika on guard duty as well. Because again, she doesn't have any wounds. Alright, so first of all, we'll have Bruno. It says he may sacrifice one of his actions, and on a 6 or more, we get a free vegetable. So let's hope we get a 6 or more. If we do, everybody gets to eat. And we do get an 8, so Bruno produces a random vegetable for us. That means everybody gets to eat. Cool. Alright, so that was Bruno. And Sveta is going to go to the herbal garden. And we're going to throw out another herb to get another cigarette. Okay. And we're going to have Arika take a risk and go outside. Let's see. So if somebody goes outside, we have to roll the black die first. If a 1 is rolled, the character... Yeah. Let's try not to roll a 1, because Arika will get 2 wounds. We get a 7, so she's good. Okay. Then we draw and resolve 1 visitor card. So something good might happen. Maybe. Let's see. Visitor card says, please help us. Your neighbor asks for help with barricading his property. If you agree, choose 1 character and place them on this card along with a wait token. The character will return to the shelter during the dawn phase. When all wait tokens are resolved, they will be tired as if they did not sleep at night. So we roll the black die. If you rolled 4 to 10, claim a gift from your neighbor. Draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck, pantry chart, but do not roll for special findings. So if we agree, we have to sort of lose 1 character that will come back in the dawn phase, and they will be more tired as if they didn't get a chance to sleep. And that means we're going to have 2 characters going up to 3 fatigue. That is not great. That means we're not going to be able to scavenge for 2 nights in a row, but we could maybe get some stuff back from this. We might want to do this because we can't go scavenging tonight. If we do this, we might get something for it, but it's not guaranteed. Only if we roll a 4 or more. Who would even go? I mean, it would probably have to be Bruno, because Arika is going to be on guard duty, and Savetta, I think we really need to have her sleep. Although, honestly, it might be better to just not do this and have 2 people sleep and get their fatigue back completely. Because I think when somebody sleeps on the floor, you can reduce their fatigue by 2. Yeah, that would wipe out the fatigue of the 2 people that are allowed to sleep. And the 3rd person would be up to 3, and that means they would have to sleep the next night. So it's tempting to try and help these people, but we're probably going to have to say no. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the visitor's deck. So it might happen again, but right now we're going to have to decline on that, I think. This would be tempting, but I don't think we want to push it and put even more people up to fatigue 3 than we need to. So, all right. Too bad we did not get any 100% alcohol or ammo. It looks like we might be getting the penalty for this one, because we only have 1 day left, and we only found 1 ammo. That is frustrating. Okay, well, it was worth a shot. At least Arika didn't get shot, I guess. We could have gotten something from that, but I said, nope, let's not. Let's decline. Anyway, so that was the day phase. That means next we go to dusk. And in the dusk phase, everybody drinks, so we don't have to roll for anybody, thankfully. And let's see, we're going to have Savetta eat the canned food, which means her hunger gets to go back down to 1. The other 2 eat vegetables, which means their hunger stays the same. All right. So there's that. Then we go to evening, and okay, we get this cigarette back as well. And we put Savetta and Bruno on the floor, and Arica guards. So we don't go scavenging. That means we skip the scavenge phase, and we're going to have to draw a night raid card. So let's see what it is. It's memories. All right, so we luck out, and basically nothing happens. But we are going to get a random memory, and Arica's misery is at 1. What does this say? Misery 0 to 1. Arica. Okay, so let's roll the black die and see which entry we get for Arica. We get a 7. All right. So for Arica, 7 is 914. So what does that say? 914. Okay. So Arica is remembering something. He carried me out of the city. He walked all night. We joined the flow of a terrified crowd. My dad carried me all the way, and I have no idea where that old alcoholic found the strength. Let's see. The day broke, and he was still carrying me. When we got here, he just dropped to his knees and died. I'll always remember the last words he whispered to me, which we don't get to hear. Back to the game. Okay, so that happened. I guess Arica's dad sacrificed himself to save her life. How about that? Okay. All right, so furthermore, what does it say? Choose a character currently on guard duty, check their misery, and roll the black die. Find that number in the book of scripts and resolve the corresponding text. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Night Raids deck. All right, so it does not get removed from the game. I think one thing we are going to have to do, regardless of whether we scavenged or not, right, it has nothing to do with scavenging. At the end of the night raid, we add crime wave stuff. Okay. I gotta take 2 more cards at random to see what else gets added. It's 2 night raid cards. Okay. So we take both of these, shuffle them into the night raid deck. All right, so that was night raid over, and I guess now we do dawn. Okay. I think, let's see, in evening. Okay, so for the evening phase, we reduce the characters sleeping, and that would be Bruno and Savetta get rid of their fatigue. And we have to increase the fatigue of Arica by 1, so her fatigue is now 3. That means she is going to have to sleep tonight. Or rather, tomorrow night. Okay, so that's what happened. And then we've got to draw a fate card to see what happens in Dawn here. We still don't have any bandages. So we cannot assign any bandages to anybody, and nobody is sick, so we can't use our meds for any gosh darn thing. Don't have any booze to reduce misery with either. Okay, so now we just draw a fate card. What does the top fate card say? Oh, wounds. Raise wounds on all wounded unbandaged characters by 1. That is not great. So that means Savetta is going to be at wounds 3. And Bruno is at 2 wounds now. Okay, that is not good at all. Oof. That means Savetta is out of action for the next day phase. All right. Let's see. If only we had found bandages, wounds would have been healed, but that didn't happen. Okay, if cold tokens minus board ups equals 3 or more, we only have 1. And that one's supposed to go away, too. Exchange the nearest location? So that would once again be this one. That's garage. Okay. No weight tokens. Spirit B this time. Alright, so Savetta has a habit, and we do have coffee, so we get to toss this so that her misery doesn't increase even more. She's already severely wounded. So let's see. Bruno B, if Bruno is hungry, level 2 or 3, and he isn't, so we don't raise his misery. Arica, if there is a guitar, well, there isn't, but if there was, she could have lowered somebody's misery by 1. So that would have been nice, but that's not going to happen. Okay, so now we shuffle this one back into the fate deck. Okay, and then we get to take some more narrative action cards. Take 2 on the top here. And we've got Like a Mouse and Kick the Door Down. Play during the scavenging phase. Instead of rolling for noise, set the noise marker to 1. Play during the day actions phase or during the scavenging phase. You may automatically open a closed door. This might come in handy, seeing as how we don't have an awful lot of actions that we could do. So we might want to take that one. And then we'll throw out, or rather not take, Like a Mouse. So for the next day, Savetta can do nothing, and both Arica and Bruno only have 1 action each. So that is not great. Nobody has died yet, though, so I guess that's something. But we are once again not going to be able to do very much at all during the day phase, nor are we going to be able to scavenge. So something bad may happen during the night raid phase that we're not going to be able to do much of anything about. It will probably have to be Bruno on guard duty. He has 2 wounds already, but I mean, we can't put Arica on guard duty. She's at fatigue 3, and Savetta has 3 wounds. So Anyway. All right, so that is another day. Okay, we're at day 3 now, and we're not going to actually do that. We're going to wait until the next episode for that. So, all right, I'm just going to make some notes, save the game, and I'm going to see y'all next time. Take it easy, take care of each other, and this is not going good, but we haven't lost yet, so we'll see what happens next time. See y'all when I see ya, and before we go, I might as well mention all those links like I usually do. I do have a Ko-fi page, so if you like what I do here and you would like to throw me a few bucks as a bit of a tip, you can do that. So head on over to Ko-fi. The link is in the description. Another link that is in the description is my Blue Sky account. I am on Blue Sky. I mostly post stuff that I'm working on for the channel, minis that I paint, such as these minis for this game here. Here is Bruno. Here are the carrots that he has in his little backpack. Can y'all see that? Yep, I painted that up. I put this kind of stuff on the Blue Sky, so there is that. We also have a link for DSA because I am a DSA member. If you are concerned about the direction this country is heading in, and I sure hope you are, you had better be concerned about the direction this country is heading in. It's not good. It's not good at all. And rather than go on yet another rant, I'm just going to leave it there. Things are not great. If you are a person that is left-leaning in any way, shape, or form, maybe you might want to check out the Democratic Socialists of America. We are the largest socialist organization in the country. And let me tell you, when it comes to resisting fascism, it is only socialists that are actually concerned about really doing that. So if you don't like fascism, if you don't like racism and all that other bad stuff, consider becoming a socialist. Consider joining the DSA. Consider doing basically anything other than waiting till the midterms to try and vote. Because how good has that been working out lately for us here in America? Anyway, also, I'm always going to be leaving until that situation is resolved, at least anyway. There is a genocide going on in Palestine right now. Israel is committing a genocide. Our country is funding it with our tax dollars. It is just happening. Millions of people are being starved to death over there in Gaza. I am leaving a Palestinian aid link. You can consider checking that out and maybe helping the people of Palestine. It would be nice if basically anybody tried to do that. So, yeah, those are the links. And that's the end of the episode, y'all. I'm going to see y'all when I see you. Take care of each other and take it easy.